Imagine a life where problems don't get in the way, where mistakes are used as stepping stones, and where the smallest things bring you joy. That's the power of sage advice. Today we're going to talk about 10 life lessons that come from the writings of famous Stoic thinkers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. These lessons are based on timeless truths. They aren't just thoughts, they're useful tools that can change your life. This lesson is for you if you want to grow, heal, or do well. Now that you've taken a deep breath, let's begin the process of making your life better. Lesson number 1. You can't control events, but you can control your response. Life is full of surprises. Some days are calm, while others feel like a never-ending storm. You do not have the ability to control everything that happens to you. This includes things like having a poor day at work, getting into an argument with someone, or dealing with the small frustrations that life throws at you. However, Epictetus has some wise advice. You cannot control what happens, but you can control how you respond to it. Consider life to be like the wind. At moments it is peaceful, and at other times it is chaotic. You, on the other hand, are the sail. Your direction is not determined by the wind, it is determined by how you place yourself and how you make adjustments. The same is true for your life. You may not have control over what happens, but you have complete control over how you respond. Now look back to the last time you were upset. It may have been because of a person, a situation, or just life throwing you a curveball. What was your reaction at that moment? Did you respond with wrath, frustration, or defensiveness? Or did you take a moment to think and then select a response that was in line with your principles? Feeling rage or irritation is a normal response. Experiencing those feelings is a normal aspect of being human. But here's the secret. When you allow your feelings to control how you respond, you give up your power. You let the situation dictate your actions. However, if you take a moment to stop and think about how to respond, you will be able to restore control. You are no longer controlled by your emotions. You are in charge. I want to make it clear that this does not mean you should hide your feelings. This implies that you recognize them, think about them, and then select a reaction that is in line with your best self. When you learn to do this, you begin to live with greater awareness and intention. And as time goes on, those automatic responses happen less often. The next time you find yourself in a scenario that challenges your patience, take a deep breath. Stop. Consider how you can answer in a way that reflects your higher values such as patience, kindness, and clarity. The more you do this, the more it will become a natural part of your routine. The most important thing is this: your life will begin to change when you stop responding on impulse. You will notice that you are not as emotionally affected by things as you used to be. You will feel more peaceful, more in control, and more resilient. You will become a person who is able to maintain composure, stay true to their principles, and negotiate life with courage and grace. Regardless of what happens, keep in mind that while you may not be able to control what occurs to you, you can always control how you respond to it. That decision, that ability to decide how you respond, is what will determine the course of your life. Lesson number 2. Discipline is the key to true freedom. Seneca once stated, "A man who is not in control of himself is not free." This may seem paradoxical at first. We frequently think of freedom as the power to do everything we want at any time we desire. It is about living without limitations, being spontaneous, and taking enjoyment in the things that life has to offer. However, true freedom, the type that lasts and offers genuine peace, does not come from excess or a lack of order. It is a result of discipline. Discipline is the foundation of a truly free life. If you think about it, it is the ability to take charge of your actions, ideas, and decisions, instead of being influenced by outside factors or fleeting wants. Discipline is not a cage. It is a tool that helps you create the life you want. This is a life in which your time, energy, and attention are all in line with your beliefs and goals. Think about the things you do every day. Are your activities determined by impulses or outside distractions? If you wake up late, spend time scrolling on your phone, or eat unhealthy meals, how do you feel? However, when you decide to get up early, concentrate on important tasks, exercise, or feed your body with nutritious food, you are taking control of your life. These behaviors are not limiting you, they are giving you more freedom. They liberate you from the disorder and enable you to go with aim and purpose. Here's the catch. Discipline doesn't have to be about being perfect. It is important to be consistent and to make choices that will benefit you in the future. If you want to develop discipline, begin with little steps. Choose one area to concentrate on, instead of attempting to make drastic changes to every aspect of your life all at once. It may be that you start your day with a morning routine, or that you make a commitment to read for 20 minutes every day. At first, these little habits may not seem like a big deal, but they add up over time. They gradually start to influence your way of thinking, your level of productivity, and the path your life takes. Picture yourself getting out of bed early every morning. Before the world starts asking you for stuff, you have the opportunity to take a moment to calm yourself, organize your day, and establish your goals. By the time the world wakes up, you've already taken charge of your morning, and that small act of discipline ripples throughout the remainder of your day. You begin your day with intention, not as a response to anything. It is a common misconception that freedom means being able to do anything you want at any time. However, true freedom, the type that leads to fulfillment, comes from choosing decisions that are in line with your long-term goals. Although briefly giving into something that is not beneficial to you may feel liberating in the moment, it is an illusion. The ability to say no to things that are not beneficial to you, even when they are appealing, is what true freedom is. It's about agreeing to do things that are difficult but will eventually lead to a life that is worth living. As time goes on, you will discover that the more disciplined you are, the more control you have over your life. You will not feel like you are at the mercy of outside forces. Instead, you will be able to deal with the unavoidable highs and lows with confidence and a clear mind. Discipline is not about limiting yourself only for the purpose of limiting yourself. It is about making a deliberate decision to put in the effort now in order to achieve the freedom you will enjoy in the future. Keep this in mind: the little disciplined things you do every day are the foundation of the life you want to have. If it seems slow at first, don't let that get you down. Every step forward, no matter how tiny, is a move in the right direction. In the end, you will understand how those habits come together to create a life of freedom. A life in which you are the one in charge, where you devote your time and energy to the things that are most important to you. Ultimately, discipline does not confine you, it liberates you. It gives you the ability to take control of your life so that you can live it according to your own design, rather than by default. And that is actual freedom, which is something worth working towards. Lesson number 3, life is fleeting, don't waste it. Marcus Aurelius, who is considered one of the finest Stoic philosophers, thought hard about how short life is. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Allow that to influence your actions, words, and thoughts." Although this may seem bleak at first, it is actually a powerful reminder to live with purpose. Life is short. Time continues to move forward regardless of whether we are prepared for it or not. Take a moment to consider this. How frequently do you allow moments to pass without taking the time to appreciate them? How many days pass by while you are engaged in the grind, mind concentrating on the unimportant and waiting for a better moment to pursue your aspirations or take care of your relationships? It is simple to believe that we have an infinite amount of time, but that is not the case. Once a minute has passed, we can never get it back. This is not about being afraid of death. It is about being conscious that it is going to happen. Every minute becomes valuable when you realize that life is limited. Marcus Aurelius was not encouraging us to be in a permanent state of anxiety about our mortality. He was encouraging us to live with a sense of urgency, to understand that every decision we make, every word we say, and every action we take is a part of the story of our lives. Time is stolen by procrastination. Because we are preoccupied with unimportant diversions, we frequently postpone the things that are most important to us, such as spending time in nature, working on a passion project, or reconnecting with family. However, Marcus Aurelius tells us that time is running out, and we cannot afford to waste it. Every moment is a chance to do something that matters. So what is the first step we should take to make our time more valuable? To begin with, quit waiting for the perfect moment. The ideal moment to begin working on your objectives, to go on that trip, to publish that book, or to mend a relationship, never arrives. Life does not slow down to give you more time. You need to take advantage of the time you have at this moment. Begin with something little. Consider the things that you have been procrastinating about. What is one thing you can do today that will bring you closer to something that is actually important? It could be that you need to talk to someone you've been trying to avoid. Perhaps it is the first step toward a dream that you have been putting off for a long time. Regardless of whether the action is great or tiny, what is important is that you are not allowing life to pass you by. You have the option to either let time dictate your life or to take control of it every day. The wonderful thing about this is that when you are conscious that time is limited, you start to appreciate life on a deeper level. You take pleasure in the little things, such as a pleasant discussion, a peaceful evening, or a stroll in the park. You stop waiting for life to give you the green light to live your life to the fullest. You act immediately. This has nothing to do with being afraid of death. It is about leveraging the reality that life is brief as an incentive to make the most of it. Marcus Aurelius wanted us to accept the fact that life is valuable, but he did not want us to live in a state of perpetual fear of death. In that preciousness, we discover the need to live with intention, to pursue what is important, and to accept the transient quality of life by filling it with moments that have significance. So, consider this. If today were the last day of your life, how would you want to spend it? What should I say? What should I do? You will understand what is truly important after you respond to that. When you begin to live your life as if time is valuable, every day becomes an opportunity to build a life that you genuinely like. Lesson number 4. Your thoughts shape your reality. You become what you think about most of the time. Marcus Aurelius is well known for saying, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The concept is straightforward but impactful. The way we see ourselves, the world, and the obstacles we encounter has a direct effect on the reality we live in. Your actions and your reality will be influenced by your thoughts if they are loaded with negativity, fear, or uncertainty. However, when you decide to fill your thoughts with positivity, clarity, and purpose, your life will follow that same path. Consider this: every action you conduct begins as a thought. Before you do anything, whether it's applying for a job, having a discussion, or even getting out of bed, there's a notion that comes before it. I am capable of doing this. I will make another attempt. I don't measure up. These thoughts influence your actions and how you feel about them. However, what would happen if we began to pay more attention to our thoughts? Become aware of when negative thoughts enter our minds and take charge. You are not your thoughts, but you have the ability to select which ones to cultivate. This is what mindfulness is all about. When you find yourself being negative, take a moment to notice it and change your perspective in a kind way. Instead of thinking, "I will never be able to do this," try changing your mindset to, "I will give this my best shot and learn along the way." Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," try saying, "I'm always getting better and better." Changing the way you think about things can be a life-changing activity. You start to understand that you have the ability to decide how you perceive the world and how you respond to it. The more you notice when you are thinking negatively and replace those thoughts with positive ones, the more your actions and experiences will show that change. Your mindset is the perspective through which you see everything, including your profession, your relationships, your health, and your future. You will start to create a life that is in line with your potential rather than your anxieties when you begin to intentionally shape your ideas. Marcus Aurelius, who was one of the most powerful individuals in the world during his lifetime, had a profound understanding of this notion. Even though he held a high position, he understood that real serenity and happiness came from within, not from outside circumstances. He believed that these feelings could be achieved by developing a clear, focused, and optimistic mindset. And remember, this is a practice, not a quick solution. It requires time and regular work, just like any other habit. The important thing is to learn how to pay attention to your thoughts and not allow them to go wild. If you find yourself thinking something negative, stop, think about it, and try to look at it from a different perspective. For instance, if you are dealing with a difficult situation at work and you start to think, "This is too hard, I can't handle it," try changing that idea to, "This is a chance for me to learn and develop. I am competent to deal with difficulties." The more you do this, the more it will become a natural part of your routine. Before long, your mind will start to think in ways that support and empower you instead of holding you back. And here's the wonderful part: as you alter the way you think, you start to change the way you live. Your actions begin to show the confidence, clarity, and focus that you have developed in your head. You will discover that new possibilities arise, your relationships become better, and your entire sense of well-being improves. Keep in mind that you have the ability to influence your own reality by choosing which thoughts to concentrate on. You have the ability to live the happier, more fulfilling life that you desire. It begins with changing your thinking, one thought at a time. Therefore, the next time you notice a negative thought entering your mind, take a moment to stop and select a different direction. Your life will continue to improve. Lesson number 5, learn to let go of what you can't control. Epictetus, a philosopher who followed Stoicism, famously remarked, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This important realization is at the center of one of the most valuable lessons we can acquire in life: learning to let go of things that are beyond our control. It is simple to become preoccupied with concerns about things that we have no control over, such as the actions of other people, the results of an event, or situations that appear to be completely beyond our control. However, the reality is that none of those things are worth the mental energy you would spend on them. If you concentrate on things that you cannot control, you are sacrificing your peace of mind. Trying to manage things that cannot be controlled leads to tension, anxiety, and frustration, which are all burdens that are not needed. Consider this: life is similar to the water. You have the ability to navigate, steer, and alter certain things, including your behaviors, your thinking, and your decisions. However, there are also the waves, the weather, and the tides. Things that will happen regardless of what you do. Although you cannot control the waves, you can control how you travel through them. Releasing things that are beyond your control is not the same as giving up. It is a way to relieve yourself of stress that is not needed. You still take action when necessary, but you do it with the realization that there are limits to what you can do. You make room for tranquility and clarity when you quit trying to control everything. The next time you find yourself worrying about something that you cannot control, whether it is someone else's view, a missed opportunity, or something else that is outside your influence, ask yourself, is this something I can change? If the answer is no, then just drop it. It is pointless to allow it to occupy space in your head without paying rent. Redirect your attention to what you can control: your ideas, your actions, and your reactions. This process of letting go requires time. It can be difficult to quit worrying about things that seem important, but once you understand that holding on to them just drains your energy and peace, you will begin to appreciate the wisdom in Epictetus's ideas. For instance, consider a period when you were stuck in traffic and feeling annoyed because you were running behind schedule. You cannot control the traffic, but you can control how you respond to it. You have the option to allow the frustration to destroy your mood, or you may choose to let it go, understanding that worrying about it will not change the situation. You then have the option to listen to a podcast, reflect on your day, or just take a moment to breathe and unwind. Life will become less daunting and more empowering for you when you concentrate on the things you can control, such as your thinking and your actions. When you release something that you cannot control, you create space for serenity, clarity, and a more purposeful focus. The most important thing to remember is that your energy is valuable. Do not squander it on matters that you cannot control. Instead, invest your energy into the things that matter, the things within your reach. You will feel a sense of tranquility that will allow you to navigate through life with less resistance and greater confidence when you do this. Therefore, the next time you feel stressed or anxious about something that you cannot control, keep in mind the words of Epictetus. Release it, liberate yourself, concentrate on what you have the ability to alter, and you will see the burden lifted from your shoulders. When we let go of things we cannot control and concentrate on the one thing that is actually important, how we respond, life becomes easier. Lesson number 6. Gratitude is a superpower. Gratitude is not just a pleasant feeling, it is also a strong instrument that can change your perspective on the world. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, had a good understanding of this when he remarked, "No man is free who is not grateful." He thought that genuine happiness comes from being grateful for what you already have, rather than from always desiring more or obtaining more possessions. Gratitude is not about what you lack in your life, it is about acknowledging the richness that is already there. Picture this. Every morning you wake up and take a moment to reflect on the things you are thankful for. It might be the comfort of your bed, the beauty of the sunrise, or the support of your loved ones. Perhaps it is simply the fact that you are alive and have the opportunity to experience another day. This act of gratitude helps you see things differently, particularly on difficult days. Your mind starts to draw attention to the things that are already working well, instead of concentrating on what is missing or what is going wrong. Begin a daily practice of thankfulness. It might be as easy as writing down 3 things you are grateful for every morning. These don't have to be large gestures. Often the tiniest things can have the most impact. It could be the pleasure of a steaming cup of coffee, the sensation of fresh air, or the generosity of a stranger. When you deliberately look for things you are grateful for, you train your mind to focus on the positive regardless of the circumstances. Beginning each day with a sense of thankfulness establishes the way you will deal with the world around you. Ping straight into stress or anxiety, you take a time to ponder calm. It serves as a reminder that in spite of the difficulties, you have many things to be grateful for. And it is via this change in perspective that thankfulness becomes a powerful tool. Gratitude can make a big difference, even on the hardest days. Imagine if you are feeling overwhelmed by challenges at work or in your personal life. Rather than giving into annoyance, take a moment to reflect on a few things that you appreciate. For instance, your health, your ability to bounce back, or the chance to learn and develop from the challenges you face. This exercise does not get rid of your troubles, but it does help you concentrate on the positive instead of the negative. That minor change can have a significant effect on your mood, energy levels, and ability to cope with challenges. Gratitude is more than just something you do. It becomes a way of thinking. Over time, it starts to seep into every aspect of your existence. Regardless of your situation, you will begin to appreciate the beauty in the everyday, discover happiness in the little things, and develop a greater feeling of satisfaction. Seneca's wisdom teaches us that we can find contentment by enjoying what we have, rather than by always pursuing more. This is why thankfulness is such a strong tool. It enables us to live more completely, to enjoy what is directly in front of us, and to experience tranquility in the present moment. If you want to change your way of thinking and make your life more positive, start by practicing thankfulness. Put it in writing. Think about it every day. Observe as your point of view changes and your life starts to show the abundance that is already present. Gratitude is a powerful tool. It can transform your perspective on the world, which in turn can influence how you experience it. Lesson number 7, adversity builds strength. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reportedly observed, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. The concept here is deep. Obstacles are not intended to destroy you. Rather, they are intended to mold and strengthen you. Just as lifting weights helps your muscles grow and become stronger, experiencing challenges helps you strengthen your mental and emotional muscles. The challenges you face are not hurdles, they are opportunities that help you become a stronger and smarter person with each one you encounter. Imagine a tree sprouting between fractures in concrete. At first appearance, it may seem impossible for a tree to sprout out of something as hard and unyielding as concrete. However, the tree continues to grow. It pushes its way through the cracks and makes its way to the light. This is how challenges affect our life. It may appear to be an obstacle that separates you from your objectives, but in truth, it is frequently a chance for you to become more resilient. Every challenge, regardless of how terrible it may be, is an opportunity to develop resilience, patience, and wisdom. Adversity is a teacher, and that is its beauty. The next time you face a hurdle in life, whether it is a setback at business, a personal problem, or a difficult decision, ask yourself, what lesson am I learning from this? This question changes how you think about your problems. You begin to view them as chances for development, rather than merely as challenges that need to be addressed, or discomfort that must be tolerated. What can you take away from this moment? What are some ways that you can adjust, improve, and become more resilient than you were in the past? For instance, whether you are confronted with a challenging project at work or a personal disagreement, it is simple to concentrate on the discomfort or aggravation that the situation causes. However, if you change your perspective, you will start to view it as an opportunity to acquire new abilities or gain valuable insights about yourself. Perhaps the challenge is meant to teach you patience or to help you improve your ability to solve problems. It may be revealing areas where you are lacking and could use some improvement. Every challenge, regardless of its size, helps you grow in some manner. Going through difficult times doesn't just make you physically stronger, it also makes you stronger on the inside. It improves your ability to endure, your ability to deal with stress, and your ability to recover from emotional challenges. Consider a period when you encountered a difficult situation and persevered. It could have been a difficult period in your personal life, a challenging project, or a health setback. Even if those situations were challenging, you probably emerged from them with greater abilities, a better understanding of yourself, and a stronger mental state. The Stoics believe that the best way to deal with adversity is to accept it. The Stoics would suggest that instead of fighting against or feeling bitter about the challenges that life presents to you, you should confront them directly with a mindset focused on improvement. You will start to feel more powerful and in control of your life when you stop viewing difficulties as threats and start viewing them as chances for growth. Seneca teaches us that every challenge and every difficulty is an opportunity to develop our character. You don't develop stronger by running away from challenges. You become stronger by confronting them. You strengthen your mental muscles every time you choose to address a challenge rather than avoid it, which makes it simpler to handle the next obstacle that comes your way. Keep in mind that even if the path ahead appears to be difficult, the challenges you face are helping you grow. Consider the occasions when you have seen the most personal growth. They were often during the most challenging periods of your life. Those times forced you to go further, be more imaginative, and work harder than you believed you were capable of. You discovered your own potential during times of hardship. Therefore, the next time you encounter a hurdle, take a moment to stop and think, what is this situation teaching me? What can I do with this experience to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient? The most challenging times frequently lead to the greatest growth. When you see challenges as a chance to improve yourself, you start to discover your own capabilities, and you become more prepared to deal with whatever life has in store for you. Lesson number 8, comparison is the thief of joy. In the environment we live in today, it is easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. It may seem like everyone else is making progress while you are standing still, while you are going through social media or hearing about the accomplishments of your friends and peers. However, as Marcus Aurelius correctly said, look inward. Do not compare yourself to other people. Instead, compare yourself to the things you have done in the past. In other words, the only person you should measure yourself against is the person you were yesterday. When we compare ourselves to others, we lose delight because we are distracted from what is really important, our own unique journey and growth. When you compare yourself to other people, you are not just comparing your progress. You are measuring an incomplete version of someone else's life, which is often filtered through the lens of the perfection they exhibit on the surface. It's not a fair comparison because you're only getting a partial view of the situation, so it's like comparing apples to oranges. Consider this: every individual has their own journey with their own obstacles, victories, and deadlines. If you concentrate on the achievements and milestones of others, you will overlook the beauty and growth of your own journey. Even if your journey looks different from someone else's, it is just as valid, just as significant, and just as deserving of celebration. Look inside yourself instead of comparing yourself to other people. Think about your past experiences, the knowledge you have gained, and the progress you have made. How much have you improved since yesterday? What have you learned over this process? This way of thinking emphasizes personal development rather than comparing oneself to others. Every little step forward is a success, and it is these modest steps that over time lead to significant change. In the era of social media, it is easy to lose sight of the fact that individuals typically only share the greatest events of their lives. What you see on the screen is usually a carefully selected version of reality, not the complete story. Everyone has their own challenges, obstacles, and speed at which they progress. Your individual journey is what matters most, not the schedule or definition of success that someone else has. Think about how great it would be if you focused on your own achievements instead of measuring yourself against other people. Whenever you hit a milestone, no matter how modest it is, take a moment to recognize your progress. These are all accomplishments that ought to be celebrated, whether it is finishing a project at work, overcoming a personal hurdle, or just making it through a difficult week. It is about valuing your own speed, your own accomplishments, and the one-of-a-kind journey that only you can take. When you concentrate on your own development, you stop letting comparison take away your happiness. Your self-worth comes from within you, not from comparing your life to someone else's life. It's not about winning or being the best, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. You are making progress every day by putting in the effort to develop and taking steps toward your goals. So the next time you find yourself comparing your life to someone else's, take a moment to stop and redirect the attention to yourself. Consider whether you are a better person now than you were yesterday. What should you do next to grow? Your path is one of a kind, and the only person you should be competing with is the person you were yesterday. Concentrate on it and observe how your happiness and sense of fulfillment increase as you follow your own route. Lesson number 9, small actions lead to big changes. Epictetus informs us with his ageless wisdom, no great thing is created suddenly. This truth is essential for obtaining achievement that is truly meaningful. Regardless of how grandiose your goals are, you may achieve them by taking tiny steps along the way. Just like Rome, which took a long time to build, no great accomplishment can be achieved overnight. A meaningful life, a healthy body, and a successful job are all built on a foundation of tiny, consistent activities taken over time. Imagine a staircase. The stages may appear to be trivial at first. However, with each one you complete, you go closer to the summit. You will start to see the progress if you stop and look back after taking a few steps. This is how minor actions function. They may not appear to be significant at the time, but when they are combined, they result in something that is far larger than the total of their individual components. Consider how a single seed can develop into a strong tree if it is watered and cared for over time. That tiny seed may appear insignificant, yet it has the ability to grow into something far larger. In life, the modest actions you take are like seeds that you sow. If you are consistent and patient, they will eventually grow and produce results. This principle is effective because in today's society, we frequently seek out quick solutions or shortcuts. We want results right away. However, the reality is that significant change does not occur in a short period of time. It is the little things we do, such as reading a page every day, saving a few dollars each week, or exercising for just 15 minutes every morning, that lead to the significant changes we want to see in our lives. The ability to harness the power of little deeds lies in consistency. For instance, if you are attempting to save money, putting aside only $5 or $10 each week does not appear to be a large amount. However, you have accumulated a considerable amount over the course of a year. That is the strength of compound action. It's not about doing something big all at once. It's about staying with it, turning up regularly, and allowing time to work to your advantage. Let's use fitness as another example. Beginning a workout routine may feel like a daunting task. You may wonder, how am I supposed to get in shape if I don't spend hours at the gym every day? However, the truth is that tiny regular efforts accumulate over time. When you exercise for just 20 minutes a day, it doesn't seem like a lot at the time. However, if you do this every day, your body will change with time. The most important thing is that you put in consistent effort, not that you put in a lot of effort. This method can also be used for personal development. If you want to acquire a new ability, such as a language or a craft, spending just a little bit of time each day, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, can make a big difference over time. At first, it may seem slow and tiresome, but as the weeks and months pass, you will discover that you have made more progress than you thought possible. The majority of us make the error of believing that major changes should take place right away. We anticipate results right away, and when we don't see them, it can be disheartening. However, success does not come from a single monumental event. It is the result of consistent, tiny acts that you take on a daily basis. Success builds up over time due to consistency. Each day is a chance to make a little progress. It might be as simple as writing down a goal, taking the time to manage your day, or choosing to eat healthier. Although these tiny actions may not seem important on their own, they work together to produce the momentum that propels you toward your greater objectives. The best part about this procedure is that you are the one in charge. You have the ability to make modest, positive choices every day. When you combine those actions over time, they result in a significant transformation. Imagine a snowball sliding down a hill. At first, it is small. But as it rolls faster, it becomes larger and more powerful. The snowball of progress will gain momentum more quickly if you are consistent in your actions. Therefore, if the changes you desire do not happen right away, do not be discouraged. Keep in mind that it takes time to create something wonderful. The most important thing is to take tiny, intentional actions every day. If you are consistent, patient, and persistent, you will discover that those small activities will lead to the significant results you are looking for. What is one simple thing you can do today to help you move closer to your goal? Begin there and allow time to take its course. Lesson number 10, surround yourself with people who lift you up. Seneca had a deep understanding of human nature. He said, "A man is not good or bad based on his own actions alone, but by the people he chooses to be around. The company you keep has a big influence on who you become. When you are among people who encourage you, motivate you, and push you to improve, you will begin to develop in ways that you may not even be aware of." However, if you spend time with people who are negative, complacent, or who sap your energy, you will find yourself becoming more like them. That is why it is important to be careful about the people you decide to spend your time with. Relationships are not only about companionship, they are also about growing together, having similar beliefs, and encouraging one another to achieve your greatest potential. The people you spend time with have a big impact on your way of thinking, your outlook on life, and in the end, your life as a whole. Consider it like this: you are the average of the 5 individuals you spend the most time with. If such folks are helpful, ambitious, and upbeat, you will be influenced by their energy. You will feel more motivated, more focused, and more in line with your ideals. However, if you are always surrounded by people who moan, who are satisfied with mediocrity, or who bring negativity into your life, it becomes more difficult to keep your own energy and enthusiasm up. Think about the kind of person you would like to be in the future. What characteristics, principles, and behaviors do you find admirable? Be with people who have those qualities. Find friends and mentors that encourage you to be the best version of yourself. They should hold you accountable, celebrate your successes, and help you grow through setbacks. These are the folks who will help you grow and who will help you see things from other points of view. On the other hand, it is crucial to be aware of when someone in your life is preventing you from moving forward. It is not about being cruel when you cut ties with negativity or harmful influences. It is about safeguarding your tranquility and your growth. It's quite fine to outgrow relationships that no longer benefit you. Not everyone who comes into your life is destined to stay. This does not mean that you should forsake others, but it does mean that you should recognize when it is time to create space for those who truly contribute to your well-being. Think about the people you have been spending time with. Have you ever felt unmotivated or stuck? Are they helping you develop, or are they encouraging habits and ways of thinking that keep you stuck? You have the ability to choose the people you surround yourself with. The correct individuals can have a significant impact on the direction your life takes. Make a good choice. Keep in mind that the individuals you spend time with are not simply friends. They are also your partners in personal development. Select the people that motivate, challenge, and encourage you. As you continue to develop, you will draw even more positive and uplifting energy into your life. Be in the presence of greatness, and you will see how you start to become great yourself. Life is not about being flawless. It is about making progress. The Stoics taught us that wisdom is not just about understanding, it is also about taking action. Therefore, incorporate these teachings into your everyday routine. Which lesson had the biggest impact on you? Please inform me in the comments section. If this video made your day better, please remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who could benefit from hearing this information. Keep in mind that you only have to learn these lessons once, but the effects will stay for the rest of your life.